welcome to my show. My name's Patrick. Epstein, Jeffrey, he passed away yesterday, I believe. And my first thought, and everybody's thought, was he was probably murdered. So let's just take a look. I'm going to step back here. And am I connected? I don't know. There we go to no. All right. Yes, no. Was and this is yes here. No is over here. Epstein, was he murdered? Was Jeff Epstein murdered? Yes. What is the probability he was murdered? Of course, it's 100%. He was murdered, 100%. And now let's go back. I got the health chart. Could you show me his heart? His heart beforehand was critical. He was sick. He was very sick. He was only 66, and I wouldn't be surprised they exploited his really bad health and took advantage of it somehow. And it might not even show up in an autopsy. It doesn't matter. They'll probably try to blame Trump for it, but it actually is going to help Bill Clinton and a lot of the Democratic pedophiles. This will probably help them. Hopefully they have all the depositions already, and we'll go from there. It's sad, and I did this several times. I used a pendulum on it. It's always the same. And we are at a time. Is this tribulation? How much is this tribulation? 90% tribulation. So, maybe 85%. And it's gonna get rough. Now, I just wanted to talk about a few things quickly. So about a year ago, June 23rd video I did. I remember that. I predicted the president would win, the present president. I call him a communist because he is. He's secretly a communist, and they try to pass him off as like a grandpa and things like that. He's really closely aligned with the cartels. The previous president was not. So this is a cartel man. And then we also, remember about a year ago, we said the border would get more violent and rough, and it has. It really, and I thought, I wouldn't be surprised gunfire and people were seriously injured, killed in it. So let's just see where we are. Okay, here where we are. This is last year at this time. Tell me where we are right now. So I got negative and positive. Negative over here. So from last year we're about a -2. Where are we going with this in the foreseeable future? It's going to get pretty bad. See how, did you see it shift? So yeah, it goes to like -8, net 9. It's going to get a lot worse. So even though I thought we would be further along, the violence and the just being overwhelmed, the point of it is trying to overwhelm the American people. That everybody's getting disillusioned and defeated. They have this defeatist, and this is mind control. This is hypnosis. It's mind control, especially when you put people under severe stress. They'll break, and the whole country is like this. Things are ready to break. Why are all the Democratic candidates taking all these really extreme positions? Because they're being paid to. I don't see any of them being president, but they're going for jobs as network announcers and things like that. I still have, well, just for entertainment's sake, let's say we do have a Democratic convention. And I don't know one way or the other. It's kind of like, it's iffy right now. So we'll know. But show me Biden's probability of being the Democratic presidential nominee for the election. So he's like, he actually slipped a little. Let's give it some time. He's He's like 80%. He'll get the nomination. Will he win the presidency? Will he win the president? What's the probability he'll win the presidency? 5%. Will Kamala Harris win the nomination? 5%. All right. Will she be on the ticket? What is the probability she'll be on the ticket with Biden? I've never done this one before. It just kind of came to me. She's kind of high-ish. I don't think that part has gelled so much yet. Let me see. I'll do it the pendulum, to be honest. I'm getting like 25% chance. So it doesn't really matter. Oh, here she goes. 50%. What is the probability the Chinese army goes into Hong Kong and crushes the demonstration? The PLA, the People's Liberation. What are you doing? It's doing something else. 3. Oh, okay. That means yes, by the way. That's one of my other ones. I don't use that one in public too often. But hit my arm 3 times if the Chinese People's Liberation Army is going to invade Hong Kong. 1, 2, 3. And it stops. Do you see that? That's just a different technique. And anyway, I think it's going to be compared to Tiananmen Square, which was 2,000 to 3,000 to 10,000 people were killed. I just doused about 3,000 people were killed at Tiananmen Square. They don't know, but there's photos out there. It was pretty bad. They brought in the tanks and they just mowed down the students. You got to understand who the communists are, the communist Chinese. And the Democrats are basically our version of the communists. They want to kill America and Americans. This is their goal. It's hard to believe, but I sincerely believe it. They want to crush the American culture, and they want to reinvent it with this multiculture. That's it. The multiculture you can really control. It's about power. And the problem with American culture is no matter what your race is in American culture, you as an individual and your family have more protection. Once they go down this multicultural, well, that's called Bolshevikism. And that's why I wear this T-shirt. Do you see this T-shirt? This is my coffee cup, the Grail cup. I put this on once in a while for protection if I think I'm being. And it has the Turin, the Shroud of Turin. I've always said this for the last years and years. This is actually his shroud of Christ embedded, and this is the History Channel version of Christ. It's a very handsome man, and it's just he's at peace. And this is Archangel Michael. This is Raphael, Archangel Michael. Can you see that? It's pretty neat. And then I just used different. Here's the Lord's Prayer, and I did it in ancient Aramaic. People don't even know what you have on. You know, you make these T-shirts, they don't even know, but it's protection. I don't know how many times I go to the hot springs, you know, and someone has the cross upside down. They're asserting their power. Our country has changed so much that these outward Satanists can do this, you know, and that's what it's about. That's just Satanism. They're out there to push their power. They're making people back down. There's a lot of them. They're all over the place, and they don't like this T-shirt. I have nothing else to do. I mean, nothing like, you know, pissing off some demons. And I have other ones. I'll tell you one. I wasn't going to say this. It's very personal. It's about my brother who passed away a month ago. And it's kind of a tribute to him. So he's older than I was. And he didn't take care of himself. And he would be the first to say that. Anyway, one day I went with 2 of my brothers to a hot spring. And this hot spring only had 1 tub. So, you know, it wasn't that big. It holds like maybe 7 or 8 people. And that day was kind of crowded. Anyway, we recognize an individual who, the expression is, he takes up space. He takes up space by just, and he does it on purpose. I've seen him before, this individual who did this. And We sat down, and there was no room for me. I got there, and like it's all taken, except for the Luciferian, and you'll see why. So I said, okay, I'll sit next to him. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I'm fine. I'll sit next to anyone. And I sat next to him, and I would say I was like touching him or like an inch from him, and I knew it was really bad. I mean, this guy's doing stuff, what Satanists do. So underwater, I just did the cross, and I said, "Get beyond me, Satan," "Get beyond me, Satan." And I said, "The All Father." I just kept saying it. Go in peace. We're all protected. I said, I am protected. Everybody in this tub is protected. And he just shot up. Boom. He stood up within like 45 seconds. Maybe it took me 2 minutes, but he just got up. He just got into the tub. There's no reason for him to leave, but he just got up, and I was saying this to myself, and he just got up and left, and he made some comment like, I don't know what he said, but he goes, blah, 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 blah. He's just mumbling. And then my brother said, "I know who you are," because he's psychic himself. He was very interesting. He said, "I know who you are." And after that, so when I was in the tub, I looked forward. But after that, one brother was this way, and one was his. He said both brothers said they saw a demon come out of him with the hand stroke to try to choke my brother over here, right across from him. And I was saying the Lord's Prayer like half an inch from him. He just couldn't take it. He came out, like fighting. The demon came out. He was so mad. He didn't keep his disguise, and they saw it because they have the seeing ability when necessary. Something pops up and it's alarming. Your own self goes into protection, your spiritual being. And they saw the hand outstretched of the demon. They saw the whole demon. I was just here like looking straight ahead, parallel to the guy, and just, saying my prayer. And I was just totally relaxed. Get beyond me, Satan. Get me on. And boom, he just exploded and he got out of there. Because that's what happens when these people carry the seed of Lucifer in a way. They don't have control of it. It just takes them over. It's opportunistic, So they kind of come in and out. And that's how most of the politicians, let's say for the Senate, I did this a long time ago. We said a certain percentage of the Senate is 100% controlled by the demons. And another percent is sort of like half and half. It goes in and out. When they come onto the TV turns on and they start talking, it would come out. That's when the demon takes over. Many people thought George Bush was possessed, and probably Obama. I never doubted it. It's just where we are. It's just where the culture is, and we are at our own the precipice of our existence. We're right at the existence. Who we are. It's not about the economy. It's not about the world changing. It's just about, do we have control of our spiritual being and those around us? And we just have to take it to another level. I mean, because if you're watching TV, you're looking at the magazines, you're trying to find out where the economy is going, and you're in a fear state, you're worried how things are going to go, that's where they want you. They want you to be worried, and you should try to be as balanced as you can. And that was really sad. And that story actually has some more to it, but it's physically they saw the being, and independently they saw the same thing, and that was very interesting. I was just looking straight ahead, but I saw him get up. He didn't last long. He lasted a couple minutes. Anyway, so Enoch was a book out of circulation. It kind of disappeared for 2,000 years. It's always been here because it's referred to in the New Testament and, in Genesis. It's referred to, Enoch this, Enoch that. And then in Revelations, it was referred to, and some other places in it. And I doubt it's way, way before Genesis and all the Old Testament. It's a really super old book. And the meat of the matter is it came back to existence in Western culture about 1800. A Scottish guy went down to Ethiopia and he came back, and this is like 1770s when we got our independence as a country. There is a man, he went down, and back in those days it was a journey. He went to Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is mostly Christian. You know, they have that Amharic type Christianity. It's a monastic. They have a lot of people living in caves and things that bring out a spiritual interpretation. It's a different, the Bible is much, much bigger than ours. You know, King David is about that big, and, you know, Ethiopian is that one. They kept all the original books, and Enoch is in that book with all the other supporting Nephilim, what is it, Book of Monsters, or Giants, Book of Giants, the Fallen Angels. It all comes from Enoch, and that's predates the Bible. Anyway, it kind of disappeared, and it comes back to in existence in the Western context about 1800s, early 1800s, when he came back with its 3 copies of the Bible, the Ethiopian. It eventually got translated and made its way around. And it was really very upsetting to many people because it changes the dogma, it challenges the theology of even Protestants and Catholics, and, you know, I just resonate with it completely, and I douse it. Show me the vibration. This is a 5-pointed. Show me the vibration of Enoch, please. Enoch. Show me the vibration of Enoch, the book, and Enoch himself. Okay? Okay. It's a 10, over 10. Could you show me, hit me 3 times if it's the Word of God. Hit me 3 times if it's the Word of God. 1, 2, 3. Was Enoch an E.T.? Hit me 3 times if true. Was he an extraterrestrial? 1, 2, 3. Was he a human incarnated on this planet? Say yes or no. 1, 2, 3. It's something else I do. It hits. I'll test that again, all right, under more controlled conditions. That was just me. So a lot of ET type people are born to humans, and Enoch says, "Woe unto us." Now, when he came back, the first passage of the book of Enoch is, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about a very remote time. And when I douse, is Enoch talking about today? Give me a number. 100% now. 1. Wow. 2, 3. Yeah, it just slams into me. It's a very hard yes. It's about now. So when you go read Enoch, I remember 35, 40 years ago, someone said, read Enoch and it'll change your molecular structure. You don't even have to understand it, just read it. And back in those days, I had a white version, a white book. I'm not sure who produced it. But anyway, you get through it, and he's saying it's all about the fallen angels, Nephilim, and they went to Enoch, and they said, listen, God's not talking to us, and we know the end results. Could you intercede with God, the divine maker, the higher dimensions, and ask? And he goes, sure, I'll go try, because Enoch's a good guy. And he went up and asked the divine creator. He said, well, could you go and give them a second chance, the fallen angels? And God said, no, I can't do that. He goes, they're going to meet their fate. They're going to be wiped out. And all the earth women, the children they had, they're all going to be wiped out. And he's really emphatic about it. It's kind of stunning. Nope, all of them. They're all gone. Because he said it's not part of their plan. What they did was disrupt the plan. And it's right in Enoch. Go read it. And he goes, they were not authorized by the higher dimensions. That's all it is. They weren't authorized. So something happened. Some group, some consciousness came in and upset the plan, the divine plan that was going to be laid out. And they can't control it because the rules of the game is you're going to get wiped out. And right now, there are groups of humans. They look human, but they're all the fallen angels, the Nephilim, and everybody. I think I said, let's just ask, of all the human bodies out there, what percent have human souls? What percent? Okay, let's call that 70%, roughly. All right? So 70%. So you got 30% human bodies that are something else. Could be even empty. Empty, just what I said before, as Enoch said. So they're going to be removed. And when you get to the end of Enoch, it goes, woe unto you. It goes on forever, and it's pretty ruthless because he's just saying, if you take your neighbor's wife, if you take his money, if you're cheating, you're stealing, you're just doing that, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're going to be removed. And we live in that day. I don't want to get fire and brimstone. I'm just reporting what Enoch says. Enoch is a very high book. Now, if you go through all the books of the Bible, they go up and down. Now, Genesis is a 10. It's high frequency. Some are not. And there's different reasons. Some of it is like there was blockage in the communication, or the person who actually wrote it down, he wasn't high, or it was told to a third person, that sort of thing. So all those things kind of lower it, and that brings me on to something else. So if you have time, I think Enoch is kind of a interesting book, and I'm kind of rereading it lately, and I go, it's pretty unforgiving. It's pretty unforgiving, and everything we see what the Democrats are doing, basically it's on both sides, the Democrats, Republicans, the permissive culture. We have lost fabric. We have lost some rules to the game. The young people don't know what's expected of them. It's sort of like a serendipity of any belief you want is okay. And Enoch said, no, it's not okay. And it's kind of like not your fault, but you better figure it out pretty quick. You better figure it out. And that's just the way it is. So I should spend more time on Enoch later, but I just wanted to let you know the Ethiopian book has Enoch in it. And they did find other copies and fragments to verify that the Ethiopian copy is legitimate. And they found it like in ruins in a jar mason. They said, oh, there it is, yeah. And they found that. And then, of course, the Nag Hammadi, which is basically the Gnostics, which saying you can know Christ directly. You don't have to go through a church. You don't have to go through a priest. And that was, after Christ died, that was a big deal. That went in for a couple hundred years of them fighting. And Constantine, emperor, is the one who finally came forward and say, we're going to just follow these 4 gospels. And the rest are heretics, your heresy. And they went after, and they burned all the copies. They got rid of everybody who believed in Gnosticism. And today, Gnosticism has made a comeback. And I don't want to get too far into it, because people have strong beliefs about these Gospels versus the Gospels that were removed. And you can believe what you want, but I can go through, and I went through them, and I can pick you out all the 10s, high vibrations from the highest source, just like Enoch. And the Gospels were the same. A couple of them are really, really high of today's modern Gospels. And a couple of them are just like so-so, like 5s. And you go like, well, why is that a 5? And there's reasons behind it. One is just taking power away from people. It's been here forever, and it's going to continue. And watch this. Show me in 1900 all the better yet, show me the pinnacle of demonic power and presence on planet Earth in the 1900s. Okay, let's go to that. Let's call that 100. Okay, that's 100. Okay, that's 100%. Show me today. Show me today the percentage of demons on the other side. It's about 55%, maybe 60%. So we lost 4. Show me 12 months from now, please. Show me 12 months from now. You see how much it drops? This is going to be a big bang year. It's here. It's a big drop. Show me 5 years from now. I'm just jumping ahead. And boom, they're all gone. All right? All gone. Now, we talked about this a couple years ago. I don't return to that topic often. I just want to let you know it is happening. Boom. And do you notice when this goes down, Goldman Sachs is losing their power? Remember Goldman Sachs? Show me Goldman Sachs at 100 5 years ago. Okay. They're 10, 5 years. Show me their power in 2012. Okay. Goldman Sachs is number 1, 10. They're a 10-star power. The president had, we'll get into that later. Show me Goldman Sachs now. So the Goldman Sachs is down to 75%. Wow. Maybe even lower, but I'm going to say 75%. Show me Goldman Sachs in 2 years. They're down to 40%. 3 years. 3 years. Goldman Sachs power in the United States. 3 years. They're pretty much gone. They're about 10-15%. I'm getting mosquitoes. They don't like my topic, the mosquitoes. So, as the demon presence disappears, Goldman Sachs, those institutions like Goldman Sachs. Now, they're not the same, like JP Morgan is like a 5 or 4, but they're going to go down. Everybody's going down, all these institutions. And with that, I think the Federal Reserve also going down. And they're going to just disappear. And they're just, it's not a big deal. They're the old paradigm. Their vibration is so low and so dark, it cannot exist in the new vibration. And this probably is true with people. So on my system, as some of you know, let's say basically people below 1.5 star vibration, all right, won't make the transition to the higher timeline, all right? And that's what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards basically it's going to be a timeline thing, and that's why you see discrepancies between different psychics and intuitives. They see different things. Like Edgar Casey, we only have show me the percent of the timeline we live on right now is in Edgar Casey prophecies. He's 25%. So when Casey in 1930s, he was looking and going to a trance, and he is basically connecting to his higher self and his Christ conscious. He didn't use external entities. He just kept it to himself, and that's what I do too. I just keep to myself, and keep it tight. No one comes in. It's just me and the heavens. That's all I want. I don't want any of these beings floating around. But we all do have guides. That's all true. You have angels and things. That's all true. Anyway, and they probably do poke me more than I know. So where was I? I was going to say something about. So Edgar Casey, see, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but this timeline where we make conscious choices, us, individual, and our parents, we just shifted over to another timeline. We're going to the higher dimensions. He saw one really that was pretty bad, and that's probably where we had to start over. Now I think even the high timeline, I already had it. We have like the mean sea level will go up 12 feet, things like that, volcanoes, and I don't know. I don't think it's important to know that stuff. Nibiru is probably coming still. The planet axis will change. You know, I get the 90% change, you know, the quarter, and I did come up with them things. So it may not be totally, we can all live through it, you know, some of us can. 12 feet increase, that'll take care of Manhattan and South Florida, you know, anywhere low. The South is all that swamp area, that'll be further underwater, things like that. And but you know, they're people can just go to higher lands and stuff. And I might do a map in the future, but it may not help, but I can single out areas that are going to be pretty tough to live, and I don't know why. But for example, Hawaii, you know, and like I said before, Portland is going to be awful, really, really bad. And Hawaii is going to be bad. I think the thing in the volcano is still going. It's still breathing. It's still alive, even though we don't hear reports about it. And we're only like 18% into this volcanic expression. So how long it's been like 18 months for this volcano? It's still going on, and it's still going. So it still has another 80% more power to be released over this time coming up in front. And that's really, you know, is it going to be a gradual oozing? I think it's going to go to another island, you know, something like that. And then gold. I still stand by, you know, gold and silver will just eventually just keep going up and up. And a lot of these things, the market correction it'll happen really quick, you know. Don't worry about it when it happens. You know, the timing element is so flexible. It's like a rubber band for us. That's the difficulty. So these events I'm talking about, they'll occur, but the timeline is like a rubber band. And it's very flexible. I had the Mueller report. You remember when I came out that week when he was appointed, and I said there's zero. It was zero, like 2 or 5%. Like there's nothing there. And I kept saying, there's nothing there. It's not going to go anywhere. There's no power there. They're not going to find anything. What I was surprised at, I thought it was going to wrap up really soon because, you know, that's my logical mind saying, no, it's going to wrap up soon. There's nothing there. They have to wrap it up. How can they? And they went on for 2 years. So, and I knew that logically, the logic of the way the Democrats were attacking, they weren't going to let go of this. They got a special prosecutor, and they beat Trump over the head for 2 years. And most of the people intuitively of this country knew that's what's happening. And when the report came out, that it was just a big lie from day one. They knew it was a lie, but they put the pain on the people. And they're doing it now still. They can't give up. They're still mentioning Russia. And so I did a couple of those Muellers, and they took one down. It was deleted. I was going through, I saw, they took it down a while ago. And, you know, I just said, you know, there was nothing there. I don't know why they took it down. The other one, this last video I put on, I guess I should expect it, you know. This last video, I had, I don't normally look, but I had like 150 views. And then the next day I was going around YouTube, and I came through my channel, and I saw I had 93. So they took like 55 views down. They subtracted, and I go, it's like petty, isn't it? I don't know what else they're doing. You know, it's part of shadow banning. You don't, you know, they don't send out your notifications, or they don't, whatever. It's petty, but it's all about power. And as the demons go down, 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 the book of Enoch could be at play here. It's just a warning to get your act together. That's all. To get your warning. And he says you will be held accountable. Don't worry about it. I'm not here to make anybody do anything. There's no fear. I don't know the ramifications if people and the country don't see the light, as it were. You know, we're a different civilization now than Enoch was. I have him 2,800 years ago, or 800 years before Christ. Anthropologists and archaeology, and scientists in the academia, they say it's like 100, 150 years before. And it's like, no way. It's way, way before. Plus, I doubt he was 40% Jewish. That's really different. So maybe that's why they didn't put him in the Old Testament. He wasn't Jewish as much. He's just 40%. And Jesus was 100%. He was a rabbi. So that's all at play. And it goes on and on. If you go look up Enoch on the internet. They have copies out there. You can read it on the computer if you want to. It reads pretty quick. He's just a bit redundant, and his things that, if you do this, that, and it goes on for like many pages, woe unto you, and there's a lot of woes. And that's all. You're just human beings, and we're being run by the Luciferic culture. I mean, look at Hollywood. Look at the government. So we're slowly taking back control. And it's really difficult for the people and the countries, just tearing the country apart. And you just have to pray that Trump and his team know what they're doing. I think Trump and his team are part of the ruling class. It's like the TV series on Rome. It's a power. It's just different families, and this one family, which Trump represents, this group, they said you should share with the people. You got all the wealth, and the other group that's in power right now, who are backing the Democrats, they want all the money, and that's not going to happen. They have to give it back, and it's about that, money and power. Okay, thank you. I kind of ranted a little bit, but I think all these things, it's obvious what's in play. All right, and Max is getting bigger on me. I think he weighs more than me. He pushes me around. He wants to go for a walk, and he gets his paw and he smacks me. He leaves you with a black and blue mark. This is dog power. This is the dog planet. Okay, thank you very much. God bless you. Bye.